This is the ultimate modern metal guitar tone recipe. A black baritone guitar into a black EVH 5153 Stealth 100 watt. Let's get into it, and let's start with a demo track so you guys can hear how mighty and modern this rig sounds. Take a listen. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. So that was this guitar, the VanderMeij Magistra Baritone, 6-string baritone, into my small pedal board for the Zuta, the gate, and a little effect on the Line 6 HX1 called the Throbber. Going into the EVH 5153 100 watt Stealth. So this is a 100 watt 6L6 amplifier on the red and the green channels. That was fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12, in which I've loaded up my trusty Vintage 30, mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s, 1 MD421 Kompakt, sent into the DAW, and that's what you're hearing. I only applied a little low cut on the guitars and a little bit of reverb in post on the green channel part. Do note that I have capture packs out for this amplifier on my website as well, sonicdrivestudio.com, for the Quad Cortex, the Nano Cortex, the Mini Cortex, or for Tonex. And yeah, they came out super nice, so you can get the sounds of this amplifier in your modeler as well. So yeah, if you ask me, this is kind of the ultimate modern metal guitar tone, right? So what are the important ingredients for a tone like that? Well, a heavy tuning, in this case a very low tuning with a baritone guitar. This guitar is tuned to drop A flat. Baritone guitars are very popular these days. I remember, like, let's say 20 years ago when I wanted to buy my first baritone, it wasn't so easy. There were a couple of brands out there who were selling baritone guitars, but it's much easier now. A lot of brands are offering baritone guitars, and this VanderMeij Magistra Baritone 6 is just really excellent and really stealthy, really simplistic, brutal, and metal, and I absolutely love this thing. Of course, you also need a pickup that sounds good and everything, but that's the guitar, right? Then you'll need an amplifier. Now, a 5150, whether it's PV or a more modern style 5150 like an EVH, is a good fit for heavy metal. I like to keep things simple, so I picked this one. This is a variant of the 5150 that sounds very tight and modern by default. It's a simple rig, no pedals in front aside from the gate, so no boost up front. This amp sounds very tight by default. And of course, I'm using a Vintage 30, which is a very popular speaker for modern metal. So for the heavy stuff, I was on the red channel. Let's take a quick listen to that tone and hear how defined that is without a boost pedal up front. Because with older 5150s, so like the PV 6505 and stuff, people like to use tube screamers and stuff up front to tighten up the tone, to make it more modern. With this amplifier, you don't need any of that because it sounds very modern by default, and you don't need to do anything basically aside from just turn the amp on, tweak some controls, and there you go, right? So let's take a listen. So even for a guitar tuned this low, drop A flat, it still sounds very tight and defined. You can hear every single string. And of course, the baritone skill also helps with that for the clarity on the low notes. But as you can hear, this is a great match for modern metal. Looks aside, obviously they both look very stealthy and black and kind of brutal, right? Now, let's take a quick look at this guitar. So recently, Koen VanderMeij, the guy behind this brand, was in my studio. Look up that video if you're interested. It was very interesting. Together we discussed this new line of guitars. So these are his import guitars. He's a luthier. He makes guitars, fancy guitars, kind of expensive guitars. And he wanted to offer some guitars to the market that were more obtainable and more affordable. So that's the Magistra line. There's a 7-string, fan fret 7-string, a standard 6-string, and this 6-string baritone with one pickup, which is the one that I chose. I think this guitar is absolutely awesome. Again, baritone scale, 28 inches, single pickup. This is their Hellebaard pickup, which they make in-house. We have a Sunkai body, which looks kind of like swamp ash. Great body shape with some nice bevels and contours to make it very ergonomic. 3-piece maple neck with a satin finish. 24 stainless steel frets. Okay, great quality frets. We have an ebony board, Macassar ebony board. We also have Hipshot hardware, so a Hipshot bridge and Hipshot open gear locking tuners, which I really like. And yeah, it's a very simple guitar, which is why I love this guitar so much. It kind of does the Meshuggah thing in terms of the looks, right? With the open grain or open pore finish, single pickup, single volume control, simple, brutal, and great for low tunings, right? So these are a bit more affordable, obviously, than a custom shop guitar. These are around 1,300 to 1,400 euros or so, give or take. Go check the website, VanderMeijGuitars.com, for more information. Again, the Hellebaard pickup, which is their own pickup, sounds really good, really defined and crunchy. Great sounding guitar for sure. Snarly, barky, tight, fat, and everything in between. I have it strung up with a set of baritone elixirs with the standard unwound, I think 0.22 4th string, which doesn't always work on a baritone, but it works quite well on this baritone, so that's really cool. The action is set up nice and low, plays really well, sounds awesome. What's not to love for the modern metal enthusiast, right? So yeah, I really like this guitar. Now for the amp, this is an amp that I bought recently. I haven't featured it a whole lot because of the whole Fender ordeal. I don't support all the decisions that Fender is making behind the scenes. Well, not really behind the scenes, but you know what I mean. But I'm just treating EVH as a separate thing. We all love Eddie. We love these amplifiers, right? So I bought them with my own money, so I'm gonna feature them on the channel, okay? And yeah, I mean, they sound really good, as you can hear, if you're into that modern metal thing. So the red channel is my favorite. A funny thing about the red channel is that everybody was saying online and stuff like the stealth is way too over the top. It's way too gainy. I did a video on the 50-watt version as well, which is a great amp. And what I noticed is that it isn't really over the top per se at all. I mean, I've got gain at, let's say, around 2 o'clock, and it still isn't over gained or anything like that. So it's not as saturated as you might think. The green channel, though, we'll get to that in a minute, has a lot of gain, but the red channel, oh man, it's just chef's kiss for me for high gain metal tones. Each channel has its own resonance control on the back. I have them set somewhere in between 2 and 3 o'clock, so pretty high up for a thick low end. It's a darker sounding amp, kind of like all 5150s by default, so you have to crank the presence up quite a bit to get the brightness, right? So as you can see, yeah, the presence on each channel is set up pretty high. I haven't done a lot of tweaking on this channel to get it to sound like this. Bass is set to 1 o'clock, mids to noon, and trebles raised up a bit. If you lower the high or treble, it's a bit more smooth, right? But I like how the tone opens up when you add a little bit of high in there. Yeah, it sounds so good by default. Again, no pedals needed or anything like that. So that is the red channel. Love it. Let's go to the green channel, which is the clean channel. On some other 5153s, these are a bit more clean. So this one has way less headroom. This is the tone that I was using in the intro song. So kind of like a dynamic, broken up clean, right? Sounds really good, actually. So I have low set to 1 o'clock, mid in between 1 and 2 o'clock, high at around 2 o'clock. Volume isn't very high, as you can see. Sometimes people claim that I have the volume turned off. I just don't play really loudly in this studio. I don't need to. And modern amps can sound really good at lower levels, just so you know. Maybe it's not super metal or anything, but I don't care. Sounds good to me, works for me. Let's start cranking up the gain so you guys get an idea of how much gain there is on tap on this amplifier. Let me lower the volume a little bit there. So this is 11 o'clock. So kind of plexi-ish, right? Just for fun, let's go all the way. Gain cranked up. So not exactly very modern metal, but, you know, good for sludgy tones, for more classic tones. Let's try adding the Zuta Duality pedal up front for a bit of kick. It's kind of like a Tube Screamer-esque pedal on the vintage mode. It's a bit more modern for sure. So that's the green channel. Let me turn down the gain once again. The low gain tones are quite nice. I like that there's a bit of breakup on there, especially for a guitar like this, where the bridge pickup will sound a little bit pokey into a high headroom clean tone. And overdrive helps to smoothen it out a little bit, so that is great. Finally, let's go to the blue channel, the channel that everybody loves, that I didn't use in the demo track. This is the crunch channel, if you will. Let's tweak the sound a little bit here. So quite clear sounding. Really great crunch tone. You can get sort of high gain tone out of this as well. So this is with the gain cranked up all the way. Quite nice amount of gain. Let's add the Zuta boost once again. Lower the mids a bit. So with the boost up front, you can get it to sound pretty modern as well. Now this amp has a funny trick up its sleeve. Let's go back to the red channel and hear what happens if I mess with the gain control on the blue channel, okay? So the gain control on the blue channel actually affects how the red channel sounds. It kind of makes it more smooth and round when you lower it, and when you raise it up, there's more gain, more tightness and aggression. Take a listen. So that's something to keep in mind if you're going to use this amplifier. The gain on the blue channel affects how the red channel sounds. So the higher up, the better it sounds basically, but around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock is where it starts sounding really good. And that's pretty cool. I don't want to make this video too long, so this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video on the modern metal recipe with a baritone guitar, the VanderMeij Magistra 6-string baritone, into the EVH 5153 100 watt Stealth, a beast of an amplifier that I love a lot. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to know. Also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps the channel out. And you can check out my affiliate links as well for Tone One, Sweetwater, etc. Get something there at no additional cost to you. And then you also get to support the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Check out sonicdrivestudio.com. Check out my Instagram, my Facebook, and all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.